How y'all doing? This is Toby with Toby's Tastings. I was chatting with one of my buddies last night and telling him I was going to smoke up some ribs and, being Memorial Day and all. And Steve requested that I document the process. I figured, well, hell, might as well make another episode while we're at it. So, yeah. Let me show you what we got going on. Got the grill not quite going. Don't have it tuned up yet or cleaned up or ready to go. And then back of the truck we got some hickory and a few pieces of pecan. We're gonna do a hickory pecan on some spare ribs. And yeah, I'll be out here. It's about 11:30, I think. We're gonna do the 3-2-1 method. So if you've ever barbecued or smoked meats before or smoked ribs, if you have or haven't, the method to do is the 3-2-1, and that's where you do 3 hours on about 225 degrees, just meat on the grill, ribs on the grill, and then you wrap it with a butter apple cider mixture juice. Helps it stay nice and juicy, and you do that for 2 hours, so 3, and then 2 in the wrap, and then you finish it off no more than an hour with your glaze, your barbecue sauce, or whatever, depending on how caramelized you want it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to get the grill cleaned up and get some coals going, and we're going to get this party started. One of the benefits of grilling is for the chickens. When I clean that grill out, they love getting in that dust and taking dust baths in the ash. Chicken. All right, so let me show you what we got going on here. So I am a big. Whoo, it's windy today. I am a big fan of charcoal, and let's get these out of here. Some people smoke with gas grills, and some people use those pellet smokers, which are kind of set it and forget it, and they've got Bluetooth and all that. That's the dream, right? Get one of those Bluetooth smokers that you just turn it on, put your meat in there, and then you smoke it for however long you want. Well, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of rig. I do have this Charger oil grill it's really done us awesome since we've had it. So that's the method we're going to use. So with charcoal, there's a couple ways to start it. I prefer to use a chimney, and how chimneys work is you put your charcoal up here, and then underneath you pack it full of paper or cardboard or whatever, and you light it, and then it gets the coals going. It's a little bit, I prefer it over the match light or using any kind of starter fluid. And I found these, and I've been using the shit out of these. These are, I don't know what's in, they're little petroleum gel things, but instead of packing with paper, actually just set this under there and light it, and this burns. It's pretty cool. I don't have 2 hands, so I'll get it going. I'll get it lit. I'll get lit, and then I'll come back and let you see. All right, so here's the little cube. I'm just gonna, oh, they usually go right up. There we go. All right, now it's lit, fam. We just put the coals right on top, and then these are going to be ready to go in the smoker box when there's flame coming out the top. Might even let it go a little bit longer. Typically, I'll probably do 2. I'll do this chimney and then get another one going, and hopefully that won't be too hot, and that'll give me enough coals. And we'll be pretty close to rocking and rolling. Now, one of the things with doing a smoke is you want to make sure that you ain't got any gaps, that you're pretty airtight, right? So this right here is a vent that we can open and close, but this gap you can see my fingers through there. We want to shimmy this around so that's closed as much as possible. Now, I said I really do like this grill, and it's dirty because it's been outside for several years, but one of the things about this grill, besides how much it, and if I power wash it, it cleans up real nice. But one of the things about this grill is it is not airtight. which is fine. It just means that you have to babysit it instead of, so I'll be out here in my shop. I got this new freezer. Forgive the shop's a mess, but I got this freezer for free from a neighbor that I'm gonna sand down and get cleaned up, and it's gonna replace our deep freeze. We'll have an upright freezer out here, so that'll be nice. So, all right, well, those are going, so I'm probably gonna go inside and take a poop. Now, I didn't go inside to poop because it's windy and this thing's jiggling a little bit, and I got my truck parked right here, and I don't want this to tip over and a coal catch my tire on fire or something like that. So I'm gonna babysit it. It's been about 5 minutes. You can start to see smoke come out the top, but it is not too warm at all. So basically, you know, there'll be flames shooting out the top here, and that's when we'll dump our first load in there and start sterilizing the grill out. But oh, and on this, I can go ahead and put my grates back in there because we're not gonna have any coals in the base there. So I can get them in there. Get them situated. I'm sure this camera work is terrible. Props to all the YouTubers out there that have decent camera work, because I don't. One thing too, you know, as you're getting your grill cleaned up, ready to go, we got a little bit of rust on there, ain't no big deal. But this butter cooking spray, it is great for not only helping keep your meat from sticking, but just treating your grill. I'll spray the whole damn grill with this stuff, and it helps combat rust. We leave this thing just out in the open in the elements, and we only got, you know, a few places of rust, and yeah, it is under my carport, but you know, the spray helps. And it is so damn windy today. See there, it's jiggling. We jiggling? Been about 15 minutes. We're not quite there yet, but oh, there we go. There's the shot. You can see we're cooking. We're getting some. And this, as it wafts up, I'll tell you what that is. That is a recipe for making neighbors jealous. When they get a whiff of that, they wonder what is cooking. All right, we are just about to where it's time to put these in the box. You can see we got some flame up right there. If I try to put my hand over it, I can't. It's pretty bright out here. If it was darker out, you'd see a little bit of flame at the top, I suspect. So we're just gonna go ahead. Should I try to do this while I'm filming? Just nice and easy. And I think I said that I was gonna try to do two deals of coals, but I think that's enough because when we want to switch over to wood being the primary heat source, and so coals are just going to get us started. And I also, when I add wood in there, I want some of it not to be directly on the coals. So let's see if we can get this up to temp, up to 225 as is. Sterilize our grill out for about 15 minutes, let these coals get going, and then we will be ready to add our first piece of wood. What I'm doing right now is just trying to make sure that all the coals are on the side. Give me a little bit of room to put some wood in here so that it's not directly touching the coals. So I think that should be good. Should be able to fit one of those in there. So all right, let's shut her up. Let's hang our tongs back up here. Let's get it closed up. Make sure your vent's closed. Let's look at that smoke already coming out of there. Let's get this closed up. Make sure this is closed up. And then might go get me a shop rag and get that cleaned up. But we're gonna try to get us to about, where we want the needle is the notch right after 200. So that notch right there. So, all right, I got the dial cleaned off so we can see the temp is slowly climbing. Now, idea with smoking is low and slow. So, oh look, got this little earwig that found us a home in there, didn't like the heat. Low and slow, right? So what that means is we want to keep the heat low and we want to cook it slow. So it's going to take 6 hours to do this. It's already going to take more than that. We started about 11:30. It's probably about 12:15 now. So yeah, low and slow. The other thing is that we can regulate our heat. It's kind of counterintuitive, but by keeping these closed, the chimney or whatever that's called in this side vent, by keeping that closed, we're going to be able to produce less heat. Now it seems kind of counterintuitive because if you keep it closed, you're holding all that heat in there and that it would make it hotter. But the reality of it is that you're reducing the supply of oxygen. And so by reducing the supply of oxygen, you have a less hot fire. If we want to heat it, if we want it to burn a little bit hotter, we start opening and closing, and we do that with the side thing too. So we've got everything closed right now because we want to see if we can hit 225, our max temperature. 225 to 250 is where we want to be. We want to see if we'll hit that just with everything closed up. And right now we're about 160 and still climbing a little, so it's going to have to sit a little bit. But yeah, in a smoker like this, it takes a little bit of babysitting. Now, like I said earlier, if you got a Traeger or one of those pellet fed setups that are a couple $100 or several $100, this is a couple $100. But if you have an $800 pellet smoker, you just throw your meat in there, fill the pellets up, set it at the temp, and then you can go inside and watch football or fuck your wife or whatever, or boyfriend or husband. Oh, that got a little weird. All right, so I went inside and I had me a little dookie, a little poopy, and I was in there about 15 minutes, and we're holding at about 180. So that's a good thing, and we're completely closed up. So that means we can open her up a little bit. Whew, that thing's hot. Try to get us a little bit closer to that 225 to 250 range. Let's see if we can get it to hold there. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and add a chunk of wood in there. Go ahead and get it smoking up. So there's our coals. I just want to get it in there and keep it away from the coals. And we'll see, since I opened that up, you should see this temp go up a little bit. Not moving yet. So I open that up a little bit more. So immediately, since I opened that up, we're gonna see a dip in temperature, but then it should.
Daddy, it's a new Ben 10 game!
Oh, wow.
But I
Don't touch the grill, it's hot. Hey, this over here is really hot too, so don't touch it, okay?
I wanted to play this game, but it's hot.
Well, go have Mama help you. Daddy's smoking.
No, Mommy's not good at unlocking this game.
We're gonna open this up a little bit more.
So please can you help me? I want you to unlock this game, or else.
Are you threatening me?
Yeah, so please can you unlock this game? Pretty please.
All right, so we're about an hour in and we're almost to temp. Remember, low and slow, that's what smoking's all about. And we're about 3/4 open there and almost all the way open. I had to stick my poker in there and get the coals away from the vent to allow some more oxygen to get in there. But I added another piece of wood in there, because once I get it to temp and get the meat on there, we don't want to touch it. That's the thing. The whole point of this operation is to let the smoke do its stuff. You don't want to be opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. That defeats the whole purpose. You want it to be, the smoke to be billowing and getting in that meat, just dancing and like a ballerina and just loving on it, like a teenage couple in a parked car. I think we're just about where we need to be. All right, we are sitting nice and steady. Might have to close her up a little bit as we tend to this. I've got our ribs ready to go. Now, when you're putting a rub on a rib, one thing you want to do is, as you're making your mixture, which I didn't video this, but you're gonna put some salt, some pepper, some cumin, some brown sugar, and some paprika. And as you're doing that, dip your finger in that bowl and taste it, because that's going to give you an idea. Do I need a little more salt? Do I need a little more pepper? Do I need a little more cumin? And we're just perfect on our temperature. Might open it up just a tiny bit, but the wind blowing through here is going to have it fluctuate up and down, and it's going to dive once I open this up and put this meat in here. So let's go ahead and see if I can one-handed get this meat in this grill. All right, see the smoke come out? We've got our wood down there. We're not really smoking too much yet, unfortunately, but as that wood will get to where it's smoking good here in a little bit. We're just gonna give us a good spray. Now, the wife did say she's gonna go buy a whole chicken and rub it down. That's gonna be another 3 to 5 hours. She was wanting to smoke that, so we'll get that going. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Oh, smell that smoke. Now I gotta go wash my hands. All right.
Hi.
Looking hot. I think smoking meat makes me horny. You gonna go get that chicken?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get it.
All right. Love you. Sorry, she distracted me. So I got it back up. Got it. The meat's in there. Man, everything's an innuendo today. Got the meat in there, and we're getting back up to temperature. We're getting some smoke now, and it just smells delicious. And we're going to look at that. Look. All that smoke is dancing. What we're going to do is probably end up closing her down a little bit if it jumps over, if it gets too close to 260 consistently. And look at that smoke. You can smell that hickory dickory dock, am I right? It's getting pretty close. So I'm just going to leave it. We're getting pretty close to temp. I'm just going to leave it as is and let her smoke. We're a little low on the temp side, but that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So I came in to wash my hands, and looks like the wife picked some turnips and some radishes. So it looks like we're going to have some turnip radish, turnip green, something rather she's making. But, yep, pulled that out of the garden today. Pretty good haul. Yep, so our temp's sitting good. It's been about 5 minutes maybe. Ran inside to wash hands, and so we got back up to temp about right at 12:45 p.m. So here now remember, we do 3, 2, 1. So 1:45, 2:45. At 3:45, we're gonna take these ribs off, and we're gonna wrap them in tin foil and put our apple cider and butter mixture in that tin foil with it to let it go for 2 hours. So the temp is slowly climbing a little bit, but I think we're good at where we're at. I can smell the smoke, can smell it, and it's good. I'm gonna go tinker around in the shop a little bit and just check on this every 10 minutes, just make sure temp's where we need to be. One of the good things about smoking meat is it gives you a chance to work on some projects while you're tending to the smoker. I got this freezer earlier this week from my neighbor. She's just wanting to get rid of it. It's a perfectly good freezer, but they had it sitting on their back porch. It got a little rusty. It's got some leaves I need to clean out. But I got the angle grinder. I'm gonna get all the rust off of it, see if I got any cans of paint. and we're going to replace our deep freeze with this one. We'll keep the deep freeze in our shop for backup or coronavirus 2.0 if we need to stock up on meat. But you know, it's a little dirty. It's been sitting outside, but it's a freezer. It'll freeze shit. So, but that's not why you're here. Why you're here is because of the meats. We've been sitting steady, about right where we need, between 220 and 240. It's about 115, so the meat's been on there for about 30 minutes, bathing in that hickory smoke. Now what I'm going to do is I want to add a piece of pecan or pecan. Now this is going to add a little bit more sweeter flavor, kind of nuttier flavor, and it's also going to give me a chance to check on the fire and see how everything's doing. So let's open this up and see. All right, our fire's a little low. Wood's doing okay. This puppy's just gonna go straight on like that. And we're gonna close it back up. Now, soon this wood will start catching, but you can see on that hickory it's smoking, and just that smoke is dancing and loving. Honestly, what I could have done is gone probably another hour before I added any meats on there to let that hickory really start to smoke. But yeah, you know, it'll be fine. If I gotta do up some more coals to get us more heat going in there, I will. But as you can see, this is why you don't want to open this a lot. My temp dove down pretty low, almost hit 200, but it's crawling back up. So we're gonna just monitor it since I opened that, and since we mixed up the whole situation, and make sure it stays in the temp zone, which I think we're gonna be good. All right, since we added another piece of wood, I actually put another piece of wood in there on top of the coals. You kind of gotta sometimes plan a little bit in advance, play ahead. But I got a temp spike, and it's crawled up to 240, which is fine. That's in our range, right? But I went ahead and just closed this puppy all the way up. And now we're dropping down on temp a little bit. Don't want it to drop too far. So I see that. So I see how it's dropping. I'm going to go ahead and pop this sucker open a little bit. Try to find our balance. That's what the needles say. Now we just got a big gust of wind. Okay, we're still falling. So I'm going to open her up a little bit more. I think our happy spot's going to be we're still dropping, so we'll open her up a little bit more. I think we're holding steady. That's about where we want to be. I'm just going to watch it a little bit longer, make sure it doesn't spike too far up, make sure, close it down if it's going up a tiny bit. Just tiny bit. This is that dance with the needle. I think we're good. I closed her down a little bit more. I think we should be good. All right, we're about to
Go back up.
don't back up too much. We're about to open this up to put this chicken on there. What'd you rub this down with, sweetheart?
A little bit of everything. I did
Okay.
some Cajun seasoning, some butter seasoning, some adobo seasoning, a little bit of paprika,
All right.
and I put butter up underneath the skin on the chicken breast.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
All
good.
right.
I think. I hope.
We're gonna open and get this bird on there and close it super quick. 1, 2, 3. Look at them ribs. I don't know where to put it.
There she is.
Well,
Alright. Got anything else to say? Alright. Fingers.
all right. So we had dipped down under 220, so I had to tend the fire a little bit. I should have, we're getting good smoke going now though. I should have videoed some of it, but basically we're got a little bit of charcoal left, but we're starting to switch over to the wood, and the wood ignited, so I had to shut the whole thing down, close everything up to get the flame to go out, and now I'm just trying to find the balance with the wood. I'm fully open in here. In fact, we could even get down here and kind of take a look at what's going on in there. So we're switching over to wood, and I think we might be out, and we just got a good amount of smoke coming out. And that's what you want. You want that smoke in there, and just making love to that meat, just absorbing it. But I think we're on a climbing a little bit, but I think we're in a good spot. Oh, so addendum to that previous, we are at 153, so basically the ribs have been on for, we'll say, an hour, and we put the chicken on at 130. So Churchill, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, Church. All right, 1 hour in. Done, bub. Hanging out and smoking meat. Smoking meats.